Hello, good day to you. My name is Godfrey Mushandu from Care Quality Support and Ultra Healthcare Solutions. Today, I just want to touch on a subject which is rarely discussed within the health and social care: leadership and management in health and social care. We operate in a highly regulated environment where it is very difficult to lead because the regulation takes precedence over everything. However, in order for any healthcare provider to succeed, there is bound to have successful leadership and management skills. For those who are managers, you would know that the qualification to become a manager is leadership and management as a minimum entry within the care quality environment. So CQC does recognize that leadership and management are essential components of delivering health and social care. As I have said, and as I'm always saying, we need a strong, vibrant, visible leadership in an organization. But why do most leaders fail in the health and social care sector? One of the main reasons is that our leaders lack empathy and perspective. So sometimes as leaders within the healthcare sector, we are so much focused on the results. We are so much focused on the titles: director of this and this, quality manager of this and this, registered manager of this and that, to the point that we forget that we are leaders. There is a difference between a leader and a manager. But today I'm talking about leaders. As a leader, you need to have empathy. The role of a leader is not to be in charge of customers. A leader is by design supposed to lead and not to direct. Most of our challenges within the health and social care is around staff performance. But if you ask any leader, most of the people would say, I am a leader and my focus is on growing my business and on focus on growing your client base. But great leaders have empathy and understand their staff. If you have a happy, well-recognized, supported staff team, the rest is history. You will have an outstanding organization. But the only problem, leaders are not born. Leaders are created. Just like in football and in athletics, if you don't practice, leadership is also just like a muscle. If you don't flex it, it becomes stiff. A good leader flexes by being able to understand, knowing the latest guidance, the latest trends within the health and social care sector. My number one challenge is that most outstanding leaders are not necessarily outstanding employees. The challenge which we have is, as junior employees, we are so much focused on being good at our job. When we become good at our job, what happens? We get promoted. When we get promoted, we become leaders. But the perspective which we lose is the transition from being a good employee to a good leader. What tends to happen to those junior employees promoted to new leadership position is that they begin to judge their colleagues based on their past experience and their good performance, which then results in frustration. When frustration happens, then criticism comes in. As leaders, one of the most important things we need to do is to practice the skill of leadership. Not everyone is born a leader. What leaders do is they are people who lead those people who lead the customers. So in the forefront of leadership should be your employees, because leadership on its own comes with its own risk. The risk of being a leader is when you lead, sometimes you need to lead by example. You should be prepared to be staying late, training people, showing them, balancing records. That's the sacrifice of a leader. And when success happens, the accolades also comes to the leader. But as a leader, you should be prepared. When things go wrong, the pressure is on you. So this is where the risk comes. When you lead and you are so much focused in avoiding errors, this is where exactly things go wrong within the health and social care sector. We focus so much on what our staff are not doing well, and we have so much or so little patience in understanding the reasons why things go well. We put so much effort in training our junior staff, in supporting them to understand the quality standards, the key lines of inquiry, whether it's CQC or it's OFSTED. We train our staff. But who trains leaders? You take a person who has been very good in all that, then becomes a leader. But when you are a leader, you are more than an implementer of regulation. You are dealing with human beings. You are dealing with people with emotions. Great leaders are responsible for the people who are responsible for their job. They are not responsible for the customers. I just want to make this clear. The most important priority of a leader, ask any leader, they will tell you, is the customer. No, that's wrong. All leaders who are so much focused on the customer more than their own employees, their lifespan is short-lived. I can give you an example, a live example. I visited a Holiday Inn in Leeds. I met a guy called Joshua. Joshua was all smiles, all everything. He showed me everything when I got there. You could see from the greeting, the good evening, the good mornings, because this Joshua was on a night shift. I saw him in the evening and I saw him in the morning. He was all smiles. And I asked him, "Do you like your job, Joshua?" You know what Joshua said? Joshua said, "I love my job. I work here at Holiday Inn." And I said, "This is fantastic. Can you tell me why do you love your job?" He says, "The environment in this organization here is friendly and fun. The leaders here, they take time to understand. When I come here in the evening, the management and the leaders take time to ask me how I feel, how my family has been, how my trip and my journey to work has been. It creates an environment where I feel like I'm part and parcel of the organization. I am not just a number." However, I just want to tell you again, On weekends, I work also at another hotel. I will not mention the name. Joshua tells me on that very day that at that particular hotel, he goes there because he needs extra hours. But every morning when he's going there over the weekend, he regrets because the environment created by the leaders there is not about individuals. Everything is task-oriented. They are afraid to make mistakes. When things go wrong, they will come with a 6-pound hammer on them. So he was saying, when I go to that hotel, all I do is to stay under the carpet. I don't want to be seen. When management is coming, I pretend to be busy. Why? Because any shortfall identified, you will be crucified for it. A lot of the members have moved there, away from that organization. Why? Because they are disgruntled. So as leaders, we need to have empathy. What does empathy encompass? It's exactly like what Joshua said to me when I visited the Holiday Inn in Leeds. Leaders understand and give time to know their own members of staff. Leaders don't rush to criticize. They need to understand why mistakes are being made, how staff can be supported, and obviously, where performance becomes an issue, it will be managed through the performance process. But good leaders do take time and they are empathetic. Good leaders are worried about their staff. They take time to understand. They are concerned about their staff. They see staff as human beings, not just as statistics and numbers and figures just to produce a service or a good. An organization where leaders accommodate training, understand that errors and mistakes can be made, and give time for staff to understand and learn so that they avoid mistakes. So when I talked to Joshua, Joshua told me that, Godfrey, when you make mistakes at the other place, most of the times you are threatened by dismissal. But when I make mistakes here where I am, my manager comes to understand why the mistake has happened, what can be done to support me. To this employee, he might not differentiate between good leadership and bad leadership, but he is able to identify where a delivery is made in a bad state and in a good state from a leadership point of view. So as I conclude, in health and social care, we have so many safeguardings, we have so many issues around rotas, around staff attendance, around compliance, which is bound to infuriate leaders. So my advice to you, as a leader within the health and social care sector, you need to have empathy, you need to have a perspective, you need to commit time to understand and support your staff. And understand that as a leader, you are not there just to serve customers. Serve your staff well, understand your staff well, you will walk into the premiership of success. I'm signing off. Godfrey Mushandu from Care Quality Support and Health related issues can always be discussed. Thank you.